Something is happening.
Okay.
And I don't remember this happening, so let me start with this. A list came out of the most valuable sports teams in the world, according to Forbes. Forbes is in the money business. The Dallas Cowboys are back on top, over $4 billion. The Yankees are second, worth almost $4 billion. And the Lakers in the top 10, $3 billion. That's kind of a steal. What do they have in common? Lonzo to the Lakers. Aaron Judge to the Yankees. Dak Prescott to the Cowboys. I don't ever remember this happening in my life, where the three biggest names in football, basketball, and baseball in America, Cowboys, Yankees, and Lakers, sorry Celtic fans, sorry Red Sox fans, sorry Packer fans, the biggest names in the sport are the Cowboys, the Yankees, and the Lakers. And they've all got their emerging young star at the same time. And here's what's really interesting. You talk about MVP, most valuable. When you can get a young emerging star with these three organizations, this is the least popular they'll ever be. Dak Prescott, this is the least popular he's ever going to be. Aaron Judge, least popular. Lonzo Ball. Think about how popular these guys are and have very little of their career even started. That what are three things that we largely don't care about? The NFL preseason, the NBA Summer League, and an exhibition to hit baseballs. Those are three things in my life we don't really care much about. And yet Dak in the preseason, Lonzo in the Summer League, and Aaron Judge in the Home Run Derby are breaking television records. I mean, Bryce Harper's a baseball player. He's at the All-Star game. He's mic'd, and here's what he wanted to talk about on Tuesday night.
How do you think Dak's going to be this year?
I think it'll be. I have not met a more impressive young player coming into the NFL in the time I have covered.
Oh man, he's fun to watch. I mean, watching him on Sundays and Mondays, Thursdays. I mean, that guy, him and Zeke. I mean, unbelievable. Just a lot of fun.
Biggest star in baseball wants to talk Dak Prescott. What does that tell you? So when LeVar Ball says big baller brand's worth $1 billion, you watching the Summer League? You watching the sellout crowds? You watching the merchandise sales? You watching that game last night? Yankee ratings are up 40%. And Aaron Judge is still being introduced to the country. Headlines, drama, relevance, maybe titles. Never in my lifetime. Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys, all at the same time with emerging young stars to carry the franchise for the next decade. Really, really exciting. Let me go to specifically Lonzo Ball. Last night, he was good. 36 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. LeBron James, who generally doesn't like young players, was sitting courtside. The crowd was buzzing. Felt like a tournament game. And my prediction was that Lonzo Ball may have a crazy dad, but he is going to break attendance and television rating records in the Summer League. Well, it's happening. And last night he was really good. And I've said I think he's as good as any player in college basketball last year. Put my neck out on the line. I feel he's going to be a great, great player. I don't think he's going to be a 29-point-a-game guy. That's not his game. It was never Magic's game. I think LeBron's a better passer than a scorer, frankly. But this goes back to something I believe in. Right now, we live in a very fragmented world. I'm a little older, even older than Christine. She's in her 30s. I'm in my 50s. So I grew up with 3 networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. Christine mostly grew up with 4, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. Mm-hmm. And then both of us have lived through this expansion of cable. And now there's streaming. And tech is just elevating all this. It's a very fragmented world. You used to be able to come to work any day of the week and say, hey, did you watch that TV show last night? Cheers, MASH, everybody watched it. Did you watch? The only thing now that everybody watches is sports. The Super Bowl, the finals. That you can come into work and say, hey, did you see that big game last night? And generally after a big game, people say, oh, yeah, I watched that big game last night. We don't watch sitcoms. We don't watch drama. Netflix, networks, Amazon, Hulu. They're all over the place. It's all fragmented. This is why I love what the Houston Rockets are doing. Because they're going to get so much free press from Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony. It's 9 months of us talking about him. And in a fragmented sports world, Daryl Morey, the GM, realizes, get talked about, be discussed, create your own momentum. Do you think the UFC is paying Conor McGregor $100 million to get his butt kicked by Mayweather? No. They are paying him in a fragmented world to sell pay-per-view numbers. That's it. It's not about the fight. It's about selling the fight. And nuance is dying, and subtlety is dying, and penny pinching like the Celtics, it's dying. In this world, you've got to create momentum. And if I'm the UFC, I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm Lonzo and the Lakers, I'm the Yankees and Aaron Judge, I'm the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, you have breakthrough people. Because something has changed in my life. This used to not be the case. It used to be about winning. When I grew up, sports was about winning. But there is so much money in sports now that winning's still important. It's the gateway into getting noticed. If the Yankees were, 4-48, we wouldn't be talking about it. You have to win to a certain level. But now money matters. And there's so much money that matters that Jim Harbaugh to Michigan is a brilliant move. It doesn't matter if Jim Harbaugh wins a national title. It doesn't matter if he never beats Ohio State, and he will eventually, at least once. But Jim Harbaugh to Michigan breaks through. Recruiting, merchandise sales, relevance. Jim Harbaugh now owns the 5 months of the offseason. His next goal is to own 5 months of the offseason. Alabama, historically, last 7-8 years, they're owning the season. So the only hat to sell out at the Major League Baseball All-Star game was not the Marlins. It was the Yankees. So we live in a different time now. And so people can criticize Dak and criticize Lonzo and say Aaron Judge, it's too early, and Conor McGregor's crazy. But in a broken up world of a zillion choices that I didn't grow up with, and now it's my reality, it is really remarkable what we're seeing. Embrace it, man. Don't fight it. Lonzo and the Lakers, this is the least talked about they'll be for a decade. Aaron Judge and the Yankees, it's just starting. Dak and the Cowboys, doesn't matter if any of those guys win titles, and I think they all have a chance to. Baseball's a little harder, but I think the Yankees, with their young talent, will win a World Series. This is the least we're going to talk about them. It's a very exciting time in sports, and a lot of people fight this stuff. It's not ending. There's more money today in sports than there's ever been, and it's growing by the year. And when you can get these star UFC, Yankee, Laker, Cowboy, and get all these stars at one time, this is amazing. Never seen it in my entire life.